Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing, topping our newscast. In the past few days, a couple of senators, urged by pleas from their constituents, raised concerns involving waste bin sites on St. Thomas, including the closure of a couple of bin sites on the western end, as well as the proximity of a major bin site to a school. Waste Management Authority responded to these concerns. News 2's April Knight has an update.
St. Thomas's West End residents might see some relief soon as the VI Waste Management Authority reconsiders reopening this bin site here on Black Point Hill. That's after some residents, including a sitting senator, criticized them for the lack of disposal options on this side of the island.
I would like to stress that the authority understands the concerns of the West End residents. We anticipate opening the bin site next week.
According to Waste Management, the Black Point site closed a few years ago because Port Authority offered them an area for a convenience center in Bournefield. They took the offer, but VIPA eventually had other plans for the property, so they had to shut down the Bournefield site.
We had to vacate. We did ask for extensions, and we had to vacate the site as of August 1st.
One of the options for West End residents is the Cancrine bin site, but that's also a subject of criticism. The doubled number of bins and therefore trash prompted Senator Jean Ford to say it's too close to the school campus and could pose a health hazard. But according to Waste Management officials, that site isn't going anywhere.
The Cancrine bin site existed prior to any of these issues with the Bournefield site being closed. There was always bins there, and the bins are required there to serve the community of Frenchtown and the surrounding areas.
As for Black Point Hill, Waste Management needs to make the area safer for motorists before actually reopening the bin site.
We have been working closely with the administrator of St. Thomas, of Government House, and Public Works to address those safety concerns so that we can move ahead to reopen the bin site.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Now, according to Waste Management, there are currently curbside collection services in some parts of Bordeaux, and that West End residents have 3 other bin sites as options, including Cancrine, Crown Mountain, and Carrot Bay. The National Hurricane Center has begun to issue public advisories for Tropical Depression 6, which formed in the eastern Atlantic late Tuesday night. Now at 11 p.m., the center of TD6 was located near latitude 12.6 degrees north and longitude 34.1 degrees west. The depression is moving toward the northwest near 14 miles per hour. This general motion is forecast to continue over the next couple of days, and the system is expected to remain over the open waters of the tropical Atlantic. Maximum sustained winds are near 35 miles per hour. Gradual strengthening is predicted, and the depression is forecast to become a tropical storm on Wednesday. This is the peak of the 2016 Atlantic hurricane season. Tune in later on the newscast for the latest in weather. Now, the territory's firemen risk their lives every time they respond to a fire, and that's why the VI Fire Service leadership and Virgin Islands Territorial Emergency Management Agency are teaming up to make sure firefighters get all the skills they need on one delicate element of their job, hazmat. News 2's April Knight has more.
About 30 fire service personnel went through some intensive training this week on something that can save lives, including their own: how to handle hazardous materials.
Hazardous rights, hazardous materials that have any spills or anything like that. We had it last year. We tried to bring it every year for the new firefighters to come in and to give a refresher course.
Starting Monday this week, experts from Texas conducted classroom and hands-on training, including how to properly put on hazmat suits and take them off.
The guys not only understand the theory, but also the practical part of it, what to expect once they make entry, whether it be a building or dealing with spills, etc. within the territory.
According to officials, any fire encountered by firefighters have the potential to be complicated by hazardous materials, which can come in several forms.
Well, say if a big truck going down the highway with gasoline and it spill over, we could get it, the right people to have a thing if a truck turn over with any kind of hazardous material. For instance, have a fire in a house or a building that's still chemicals. and the fire department has to go to put out the fire, they will know how to fight it, if they will know how to remedy the whole situation.
But one of the things Deputy Fire Chief Stephen's concerned about is on a much smaller scale that can cause great damage.
Vehicles on the roadway, those vehicles that are carrying, whether it be some type of petroleum product to maybe a service station or maybe to a storage yard, it's our responsibility.
In the VI, hazmat situations don't occur that often, but still.
It's not often. But what matters is that they're prepared to mitigate any type of hazmat incident.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
And as we reported, Vitima is also testing a public alert system on Thursday, August 18th. This is different from the iPause system, where you get alerts through every medium, including your cell phones and emails. On Thursday, you'll be experiencing some interruption in your programming on participating radio and television stations. Vitima's director, Mona Barnes, says don't be alarmed by the test. Here's more on what you can expect.
At 10 a.m., Vitima is going to be conducting a required monthly test using the emergency alert system. And what this simply means is that Vitima is going to send out a test message that participating broadcast stations will receive through specialized equipment and then rebroadcast on their stations. We also have the capability to send this information through wireless providers. However, this test, we're only going to do radio and television.
The U.S. Coast Guard responded to a ship fire near San Juan, Puerto Rico this morning. The fire was reported to be in the engine room of the Caribbean Fantasy. According to the Coast Guard, more than 500 people abandoned ship in rescue rafts. The ship routinely runs between Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. There are no reports of injuries at this time. A Brazilian judge says she needs more time to determine if U.S. swimmers filed a false crime report in Rio. Steve Nannis has the story.
Brazilian authorities say they have more questions for two of the 4 American swimmers who claimed they were robbed at gunpoint in Rio on Sunday, an incident Ryan Lochte recounted on Instagram. My teammates and I were the victims of a robbery early Sunday morning, and on NBC's Today Show Monday.
I was with a couple swimmers. We were coming back from a friend's house, and we got pulled over in our taxi. The guy pulled out his gun. He cocked it, put it to my forehead, and he said, "Get down." And I was like, I put my hands up. I was like, whatever. He took our money. He took my wallet.
Police visited the Olympic Village Wednesday morning after a Brazilian judge issued a search warrant for Lochte and James Fagan and in order to seize their passports. But the U.S. Olympic Committee said the swim team moved out of the facility days ago. There has been increasing speculation about what happened after the Daily Mail released a video it says is of the athletes returning to the Olympic Village Sunday shortly after the incident. The judge who reviewed the video saying they appeared unshaken, making jokes amongst each other. Lochte's lawyer said Wednesday that his client is already back in the United States and that he fully cooperated with both Brazilian and U.S. authorities before leaving the country. He was not asked by Brazilian authorities to remain in Brazil for further investigation. Had they asked, he would have stayed and assisted. They still have not reached out to ask for additional information. I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
And wrapping things up in Rio, we'll see what's happening with our athletes, and that's coming up later. Well, keeping our eye on the economy, Delta is bringing a little more privacy to the friendly skies. The airline announced Tuesday it would start offering an all-suite business class for international flights. Flyers will be seated in their own personal space called Delta One Suites. The suites will fit one flyer, have a flatbed seat, an 18-inch entertainment system, an individual storage space, and give direct aisle access. Delta One Suites will first be available on the airline's new Airbus A350 fleet in the fall of 2017. Delta plans to add the suites to its Boeing 777 fleet by 2020. Here's a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. Everything up. We can see the Dow 21, NASDAQ 1, S&P 500 up at 4. Coming up on News 2, police need your help. They're searching for 22-year-old Lafayette Emmanuel Jr. We'll have more from the VIPD. Welcome back. On Tuesday, August 16th, at approximately 5:40 p.m., members of the Special Operations Unit were on mobile patrol in Estate Montbijou when they observed several male individuals sitting in bush area. The officers say they smelled a strong odor of marijuana coming from the area and approached the male individuals and asked if they had any other drugs or weapons in their possession, and they stated no. The officers then conducted a routine search, and officers say they discovered a Glock 22 on one of the individual. 31-year-old Ronald A. James was then placed under arrest for unauthorized possession of a firearm without incident. Meanwhile, police need your help. They say they are searching for 22-year-old Lafayette Emmanuel Jr. Here is more from the VIPD.
Mr. Emmanuel is 5'10", 170 pounds, black hair, brown eyes with dark brown complexion. Lafayette Emmanuel Jr. was born in St. Croix and frequents the estate Campo Rico Lagoon Complex apartments in the town of Frederickstead. If you come in contact with Mr. Emmanuel wanted for assault, second domestic violence, please call the domestic unit at 340-778-2211, Crime Stoppers, the anonymous tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS, or 911.
And here's an update on the shooting deaths of officers Lisha Lamby and Kai Javois, who were found dead in Frederickstead on Thursday, according to a report by the Daily News, which cited court documents. Fellow officer Francis Williams made unwanted advances toward Lamby. In the court documents, these included unwanted text messages, physical advances, and even, according to Lamby's mother, Dolores Silas, taking Lamby's car keys when she was heading out to meet her friends. Williams is now a person of interest in that case and is out on bail on stalking charges. Count on two, we will keep you updated. Senate Vice President Jeanette Millen-Young says long-sought financial relief for St. John property owners passed a significant hurdle with the adoption of her substitute amendment by the Senate Finance Committee. The bill, which would change how property tax bills would be reevaluated, was held in committee for additional amendments and to allow the task force appointed by the Lieutenant Governor to complete its review. The meeting took place at the Cleon Creaky Legislative Conference Room on St. John Monday evening. Bill number 0234 is an effort to prevent many longtime VI residents from losing their properties as a result of escalating property taxes on unimproved properties due to adjacent property construction. Count on two to keep you updated. As part of the continued effort to educate the public, the Department of Health, in collaboration with the CDC and Walgreens Pharmacy, as we mentioned, will be hosting a Zika Action Day. It's coming up on St. Croix on Friday, August 26th at the Christiansted Fort Park, and then St. Thomas, Saturday, August 27th at Walgreens Pharmacy location. Here's the Department of Health's commissioner with some additional information in our special segment. Talk a little bit about prevention and some of the things we can do to prevent it.
Yes, there are many things that you can do to prevent it. Mosquito repellent is very, very important, and so we advise everyone to utilize mosquito repellent. These mosquitoes are very heavy biters during the day, although they can bite at night. And so there are many different types or brands of mosquito repellent that you can purchase, and we have stores here in the Virgin Islands that does sell those. Two of the main stores are Home Depot and Kmart. There's the mosquito repellent permethrin that can be purchased, and you can utilize that for your clothes, but there are also repellents that you can utilize for your body. We also want you to make sure that you don't have standing water in and around your home where you live. For pregnant women, we're really working with them in the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention because pregnant women can call our hotline number, which I will give you, and they can find out about Zika. And we're offering pregnant women the opportunity to have their homes inspected. And so individuals will come to their homes, they'll inspect their homes, they'll let them know, how the mosquitoes are perhaps getting into their house. They'll look outside to see if they have any standing water, give them advice about how to get rid of that water. We're also providing pregnant women Zika prevention kits, and within those Zika prevention kits, we have literature about Zika and how you can prevent it or what you need to do if you think you have Zika. We have mosquito repellents in there. We have, they call them mosquito dunks or little donuts that you can utilize, that you can put in standing water that will kill the larvae so that mosquitoes aren't born and you have more mosquitoes around your house. So we're doing a lot of education and outreach in the community. You can call our hotline to find out where we're doing this education. We've been putting out a lot of press releases. We have information on our Department of Health website as well as our Facebook page. So we're really trying to make sure that the public is educated about Zika.
And this is our special segment called Back to School, and we'll have some back to school news for students and parents and things you can add to your checklist as students prepare for the start of the new school season. Lisa Hasselford, who is the principal of the Adelita Cancrine Junior High School, announces the following school year 2016-2017 schedules for photo IDs for incoming 7th and 8th grade students and orientation for all students. And here are the dates and times. Students should report to the library dressed in the school's uniform shirt to take the ID photos. The fee is $15. Tuesday, August 30th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. 7th graders with last names beginning with A through M. 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. 7th graders with last names beginning with N through Z. Then on Wednesday, August 31st, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., 8th graders with last names beginning with A through M. 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., 8th graders with last names beginning with N through Z. Closing ceremonies for our VI delegation at the 2016 Olympics in Rio is on August 21st. And as we mentioned, Osbert Potter is there in support of our delegation of 7 athletes. Potter will serve as head of state for the delegation and will be attending various events at the closing ceremonies where he will march with the team. The 7 athletes are done, and the only local athlete left is Eldred Henry of the BVI. Henry will compete in the shot put on Thursday. Thomas Barrows of St. Thomas and Joe Morris wrapped up competition for the men's 49er sailing competition, finishing 19th out of 20 teams for the U.S. Tuesday's races results: 6th, 13th, and 17th place. Well, you know what they say, laughter is the best medicine. And St. Thomas native and TV personality Butterman is celebrating his birthday in a big way. And he invited some friends for a comedy show at Tillett Gardens at Historical Theater on Saturday at 9 p.m. Here's more.
She, among other folks, will be from the VI, will be doing comedy. It's going to be a hilarious night in celebration on my birthday, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We have comedians Lucas Warford, who is a resident of St. Thomas.
I know Lucas. Okay.
Yeah, and he's been telling jokes for a minute.
Yeah.
We've got Zane Burney, who is a young guy, who's from actually from here as well. He's coming from New York for the show. And myself will be telling jokes and hosting. And then we got some special guest storytellers.
Hey, yo, it's Butterman, it's 92Q, what's up? Hello? I want to hear a song, but I don't know the name of it, and I don't know who's singing it. I will get calls like this. Yo, it's Butterman, 92Q, what's up? Excuse me, man. I want to hear the new song by Biggie Smalls, but don't talk over it because I'm trying to tape.
Again, that is at Tillett Gardens at Historical Theater on Saturday at 9 p.m. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Happy Wednesday evening, and thanks so much for joining me. I'm AccuWeather's Larissa Abreu with a look at your Virgin Island forecast. Here's a look at the satellite picture across the eastern Caribbean, and we can see here a tropical wave that is just north of the Virgin Islands, and that's bringing a couple of showers our way. We're not talking about important precipitation, but nonetheless, some of these showers can be locally strong, so keep that in mind. It's also bad news for places of low-lying and poor drainage areas, so we do have the chance for just minor flooding, very isolated flooding, but that's definitely something to know as we continue to make our Wednesday night plans. By Thursday, this disturbance will be well towards our west, so we really don't have much to worry about. Another thing we're watching is Tropical Depression number 6, and well, that is ways away of impacting any land, but we will continue to bring you around-the-clock coverage on this next tropical disturbance that may or may not pose a threat to the Virgin Islands or to any landmass in general. For tonight, a shower or two expected across the Virgin Islands. Temperature of 83 degrees expected here across the area. As we head towards tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds. The chance of a shower still there, but it should be mostly dry out there. Very humid with temperatures climbing to 91 degrees. So another warm day across the Caribbean. We're at 91 in St. Thomas with partial sunshine and the threat for a passing shower. 92 in St. Croix. You too will see the sun, you'll see the clouds, and you even have the possibility for just a shower or two. So grab the umbrella on your way out the door as you head out on Thursday. Here's a look at the Atlantic waters. There's really not much going on out there. It's very quiet for the exception of that tropical wave that is imposing any threat to boating. So waves in the Atlantic are between 3 and 4 feet with winds out of the east between 10 and 15 knots. And it's quite similar as we head towards the Caribbean waters. Waves are between the 4 and 6 feet, and those winds are between 10 and 15 knots. Here's a look at the next 5 days over the Virgin Islands. As we head towards Friday, it'll still be partly sunny out there and humid and warm. High 91 degrees. Still warm as we kick off the weekend, and we'll see this chance for a stray shower in spots, and that will be the trend as we head back to work on Monday. Sandy?
Thanks for that, Larissa. It is time for our News to Weather picture there by Jaden Gomes. And Jaden is 9 years old, representing Lockhart Elementary School on summer break. And looks like a bridge there, but we can miss the sunshine and the rainy conditions at the same time. Jaden, we like both. Thank you for that. Send us your News to Weather picture too. News 2, Innovative Business Center, 4611, Tutu Park Suite, 300, St. Thomas VI 00802. That is all for this edition of News 2. We'd like to thank you for joining us for all the latest in news, weather, and sports. I'm Sandra Gomansing. We'll see you next time.